guys, Sam here with another install. This time we've got some badass new rear fender flares that we're going to be installing on this Jeep Wrangler JL 2018 to 2020 models. As you can see, this thing is sleek, slim, and aggressive. It's got a powder-coated steel build, so it's going to last. Now, it does take a moment to get this thing installed. We got to get the OEM off, and we got to get the new one on. So let's get started. We start by removing the OEM rear fender and rear fender liner by removing 6 clips, 4 on the bottom and 2 on the top. A tool can be used to help remove these clips. Though do keep in mind that some of them are going to require a bit more effort, a bit more time to pop them off. This stock rear fender is going to require some serious effort to get it off, and this is because of these small white clips. They're designed for one-time use, they're easy to get, and there are 13 of them holding the rear fender to the side of the Jeep. The next step is crucial to installing the rear fender flare to the body of the Jeep. Now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust some of these holes. Specifically, there are 7 of these screws that will be needed to secure the rear fender to the Jeep. And we need to get this included rivet in each of them with the threading. Now there are variable ways to do this. The way that we recommend doing it is with this rivet installer tool. You're going to screw the rivet onto the top of the tool, and then how it works is you retract the handles in, and what it does is it crushes, it forces power up to crush the rivet and crimp it down onto the bracket, creating a pretty tight hold. The left is the untouched hole, and the right is the hole with the new attached rivet nut. So go ahead and get started, and keep in mind that one of the most common errors of this tool is not retracting enough. Sometimes it does require an adjustment in a second or third retraction just to make sure it gets as tight as it can be onto the Jeep. After you've crimped it tightly, unscrew the knob in the back to release the thread, and make sure you hit all the fender holes. This is what an untouched OEM Jeep inner liner is going to look like. As you can see, the original holes for the clips are there that we just used to insert the new rivets. We're heading to the workbench for a quick moment to attach this plastic strip to the rear fender flare. This is going to ensure that we have a tight seal between the fender and the Jeep body. This strip can hang a little loose, so be careful when you're attaching the fender to the Jeep. Now we can head back to the Jeep to secure the new fenders. We'll begin by first preparing our screws. The order here is important. You want to start by placing the metal washer and then the thin plastic washer to protect the paint. It's handy to have these screws within an arm's reach. Secure these 2 points first, as this will allow the rear fender flare to hang while you secure the other 7 points. Take your time to properly align the fender and secure the screws. Leave everything loose, as we'll be tightening down everything as the last step. Alright, so we're almost done. Our rear fender flare is looking amazing on the Jeep. But now we have a decision to make, because we did take off the OEM fender liner. We're not going to be able to get that back on with the aftermarket fender flare here. So you have 2 choices at this point. You can either use a set of aftermarket fender liners, such as our very own Nixon Offroad ones here, or if you don't have a fender liner, you can leave it exposed. But what you're going to have to do is you need to pay attention to these 3 holes right here, because you're going to need to secure those with these included bolts and screws. Now again, you're going to layer it just like we did with the other ones, but this is an important step. You want this thing to be strong and hardy. So with all of the screws in place, we can finally tighten down everything. and you'll be left with fantastic, sleek new rear fender flares on your Jeep, ready for a new adventure. Installing fender liners is recommended as they'll provide full protection on the trail. And that about does it. You've got this badass new rear fender flare sitting nicely on the Jeep. Now it is going to take the average person about an hour and a half to install this on both sides. Now that includes taking the OEM off and putting this new one on. Fortunately there's no lights to connect, so this is pretty straightforward. Have fun guys, learn a lot. I'll see you next time.